Is a Russian attack on NATO really imminent? Some high-level officials think so, and they're pointing to something called Phase Zero as the proof. Let's break down what this means and whether we should actually be worried. For the past couple of years, the world has been focused on the brutal, conventional war in Ukraine. We've seen tanks, artillery, and trench warfare that feels like a throwback to a century ago. But while all eyes are on that front, some experts believe Russia is already engaged in a different kind of war with the West. This isn't about tanks rolling across borders just yet. This is something much more subtle, a conflict happening in the shadows. This is Phase Zero. So what exactly is Phase Zero? Think of it as the setup, the preparation stage before any physical shots are fired. It is a term used in military strategy to describe all the actions taken to shape the battlefield and weaken an adversary before and hostilities begin. It's about creating chaos, confusion, and division, making your opponent weaker and less able to respond when the real attack comes. And according to a growing number of intelligence reports and military leaders, Russia is deep into this phase against NATO. Let's look at the evidence. We're not talking about just one thing, but a whole pattern of activities. It's a multi-front assault. First, there are the cyber attacks. We've seen a massive spike in cyber intrusions targeting critical infrastructure across Europe and North America. Power grids, government websites, banking systems, transportation networks, they've all been hit. These aren't just random hackers. These are sophisticated, state-sponsored attacks designed to probe for weaknesses and demonstrate the ability to cause widespread disruption. Imagine the lights going out in a major city, or train signals going haywire. That's the kind of chaos Phase Zero aims to create. Then there's the relentless wave of disinformation. This is a core part of the strategy. Russian-backed troll farms and state media are working overtime, flooding social media and news outlets with propaganda. The goal is to sow distrust in our institutions, our governments, and even in each other. They push narratives that amplify existing social divisions, whether it's about immigration, elections, or public health. By creating an atmosphere of mistrust and polarization, they make it harder for Western societies to unite and act decisively. When people don't trust their own leaders or news sources, how can they effectively respond to a foreign threat? Another piece of the puzzle is political interference. This goes beyond just spreading fake news. We're seeing covert support for extremist political parties and movements on both the far left and far right across NATO countries. And it doesn't stop there. We've also witnessed acts of sabotage. Think about the unexplained damage to undersea gas pipelines and communication cables. These incidents are incredibly difficult to attribute with 100% certainty, and that's exactly the point. It creates a sense of vulnerability and paranoia, leaving NATO countries wondering what might be hit next. Is it a random accident, or is it a deliberate act of aggression? This ambiguity is a classic Phase Zero tactic. Let's also talk about the grey zone activities on NATO's borders. We've seen Russia and its allies, like Belarus, weaponize migration, pushing thousands of migrants toward the borders of Poland, Lithuania, and Latvia. This creates a humanitarian crisis and puts immense strain on these frontline NATO states, forcing them to divert resources and attention to border security. Simultaneously, Russian military aircraft are constantly testing NATO's air defenses, flying close to national airspace, forcing jets to scramble. Each incident is carefully calibrated to be just below the threshold of an act of war, but it keeps NATO forces on constant high alert, wearing them down over time. So why would Russia be doing all this? The thinking is that if they can sufficiently weaken and divide NATO from within, a future military confrontation would be much easier. If the population is divided, if the infrastructure is vulnerable, and if the political leadership is in disarray, the alliance's ability to invoke Article 5, the Collective Defense Clause, would be seriously compromised. Would a politically fractured United States really come to the aid of a small Baltic state if its own society is in turmoil? That's the question Russia wants NATO members to start asking themselves. This strategy is part of a broader doctrine in Russian military thought, often called hybrid warfare. It blends conventional military power with these unconventional tactics. They see conflict as a continuous spectrum, not an on-off switch. From their perspective, they are already at war with the West. The conflict in Ukraine is just the most visible, most kinetic part of it. Top military officials are sounding the alarm. The commander of the UK's armed forces, Admiral Sir Tony Radakin, has stated that Russia is planning for a wider conflict. Estonia's Foreign Intelligence Service recently published a report explicitly stating that Russia is preparing for a military confrontation with the West within the next decade. They believe Russia is restructuring and expanding its military with a long-term view toward NATO. These aren't fringe opinions. These are the assessments of people with access to the best intelligence available. They see the current situation in Ukraine as a learning opportunity for Moscow. Russia is adapting its tactics, learning from its mistakes, and preparing for a higher-tech, larger-scale conflict. They are putting their economy on a war footing, ramping up military production in a way we haven't seen since the Cold War. Now it's important to maintain perspective. This doesn't mean Russian tanks are going to roll into Poland or Germany tomorrow. A direct, conventional attack on NATO is still an incredibly high-risk proposition for Russia, and their military has been significantly degraded in Ukraine. But imminent in strategic terms doesn't always mean next week. It means the preparatory phases are underway, and the trajectory is set. The warning from these officials is that if we don't recognize and counter phase 0 now we'll be in a much weaker position if Russia decides to escalate to phase 1, open conflict. So, what's the response? NATO is adapting. The alliance is conducting its largest military exercises in decades, like Steadfast Defender, practicing how to move large numbers of troops and equipment across Europe quickly. There's a renewed focus on building resilience against cyber attacks and disinformation. Nations are working to secure their critical infrastructure and to educate their populations about foreign propaganda. There's also a major push to ramp up defense production across the alliance, to replenish stockpiles depleted by aid to Ukraine and prepare for future needs. But the biggest challenge might be societal. Phase 0 attacks the very fabric of our open, democratic societies. The best defense is a well-informed and united public. It means being critical consumers of information, understanding the sources of what we read online, and resisting the urge to fall into divisive online echo chambers. It means supporting our democratic institutions, even when we disagree with the politicians in charge. A strong, cohesive society is the most powerful antidote to hybrid warfare. In conclusion, the idea of an imminent Russian attack isn't just fear-mongering. It is based on a real and observable pattern of hostile actions that fit perfectly into the military concept of phase 0. Russia is actively trying to destabilize NATO from within, to soften it up for a potential future conflict. While a full-scale war is not necessarily around the corner, the conflict has already begun in the shadows. Recognizing this and taking it seriously is the first and most crucial step in ensuring it never escalates further. The warning has been sounded. Now it's up to the nations of the West to listen and to act. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. See you next time.